So how can inventory optimization assist you during seasonal fluctuations?
This is a great question, and it's one we get with almost every customer. You know, we have so many opportunities for these seasonal fluctuations that you talk about. You know, summer holidays in places like Italy, we have Christmas close downs, particularly, you know, customers that get supplied from the Far East on containers on long lead times. This is a really hot topic. So the key information, or the key approach really, is to make sure we have the right information as much as we know about the long lead time. And I would say to make sure that you're using some sort of software that is built specifically for this. So when we're talking about EazyStock to our customers or to prospects, we highlight our calendars and our schedules functionality, whereby we can project forward what we were going to need during this closure. We can project when we would need it and how much, and EazyStock will suggest to bring that forward before these closures and even cover a little bit of time afterwards, based on kind of the configuration that the customer would like, to make sure that we're not going to stock out during these periods.
How about disruptions in the supply chain? How can companies prepare themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for things like Chinese New Year, we know they're known, we know when it's going to happen, we can plan in advance. You know, when it comes to unknown unknowns, so things like the Suez Canal issue that we've had, the Houthi terrorists now, you know, that's all kind of related to the same region, and the increased lead times. You know, it's very difficult to manually adjust yourself to those. But as we said before, with your inventory optimization, your forecast and your buffer stock and everything is already in there. So all we need to do is make a slight adjustment based on any knowledge that we can get, and we're going to start to get the results straight away. So a couple of things we can do. As soon as we know the lead time is going to extend, we can tell the system, and the system will change the amount we order and when we order to make sure you don't run out. Obviously, there's an element of safety stock or buffer stock calculated as well that we would hold just based on a normal process to mitigate against this sort of issue, and hopefully that will be enough that by the time we've adapted and got the stock in, we've avoided a stock out. But at the very least, that's going to mitigate against it for the shortest amount of time possible.
How about Chinese New Year? Of course, we know that the factories and the companies will be closing down during this period. People will return home. How can inventory optimization help you during this period?
Yeah, great question. You know, Chinese New Year is by far the biggest disruptor, or the biggest known disruptor, let's say, amongst supply chains during a normal year for our customers, many prospects that we speak to, and kind of the wider small and medium-sized business area. So inventory optimization, obviously what we're doing is we're taking our advanced algorithms, we're taking our advanced categorization and our demand types, and we're building a really strong picture about what the forecast is going to be over the whole year, but more specifically with Chinese New Year, over this period that they're going to be closed. Okay, so when we know how much we're going to ship, we also know from our analysis the normal lead times. We also know from previous years, and we can do this analysis as well, if the lead time extends going up to Chinese New Year, we can configure the system to show when the best time to bring that stock in is. If the customer wants to bring it in a little bit earlier, again, that can be configured as well. And these can all be configured, you know, at the just the change of a small button, because we've already done the inventory optimization phase. We just need to know when we want to get that stock in. So essentially, we will get that stock in before the closure. The other thing we know with Chinese New Year as well is when the workers are supposed to be back, they don't always necessarily come back straight away. Right, so we might also want to put an element of safety in there, in which case we can play around with your buffer stock a little bit, or we can just increase the factor that we change the orders by. Getting the stock in beforehand means that during the period that it's closed, we don't need to communicate with the supplier at all. We don't need to, you know, try and disrupt their holiday, not that you would get through anyway. And then when they come back, we can just go back into our normal kind of ordering pattern and ordering cycle.